All right, today we're going to tear apart something really important: the anatomy of a war narrative. We're going to analyze a critical take on the push for a new conflict with Iran and the very powerful language being used to sell it to the public.
So let's just jump right in with this powerful claim from our source. This is the core argument coming from a US military vet who's basically saying, when it comes to war, your default setting should be skepticism. Why? Because the official story, well, it's almost never the whole truth.
So where does that skepticism even start? Well, according to the author, you have to look no further than the official justification, the very reason we're given for a potential preemptive strike on Iran.
And here it is. This is the logic we're sold. We have to act today to stop some hypothetical attack tomorrow. It's all framed as being defensive, to save American lives from a threat that hasn't even happened yet.
But here's the thing, our source calls this out right away. The argument is that this complexity, this confusion, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's designed to be a tangled mess so that it's just too hard for the average person to question or push back on. And when you break it down, you can see just how circular this logic is. The source calls it minority report logic, and it's not hard to see why. It goes something like this. We have to attack them to stop them from retaliating against us for an attack our allies planning to make. I mean, think about that. It's a preemptive strike based entirely on a chain of future predictions. Okay, so what do you do when the confusing logic isn't quite enough to get everyone on board? Well, our source says that's when they pull out the next tool in the playbook, patriotism.
And what you're seeing here is a really sharp contrast the source is drawing. On one side, you have what they call true patriotism, the kind that's built on asking hard questions and challenging power. But on the other side, you get this weaponized version, which demands you just shut up and get in line. It treats any kind of questioning as if it's treason.
And remember, this is coming from a military veteran, which gives it a whole different kind of weight, right? The point being made here is that the highest form of patriotism isn't just saluting the flag and obeying orders, it's holding your own government accountable, especially when the stakes are literally life and death.
Now, if any of this is starting to sound familiar, you're not wrong. The source argues this isn't some new, brilliant strategy. Nope, it's a playbook that's been pulled right off the shelf from just over 20 years ago.
And this timeline really lays out that historical parallel, doesn't it? The source is pointing to what's happening now and saying, hey, this feels a lot like 2002. The official warnings, the media hype, it's like they're dusting off the old color-coded terror charts to get everyone scared again. And the end goal is the same, to make war feel so normal that it just becomes background noise.
And this is such a critical and kind of disturbing insight from the source, this idea of a comfort war. Why comfort? Because it's familiar. After 2 decades of the war on terror, the American public has basically learned how to compartmentalize it, to just tune it out. And the scary part is, that makes it so much easier for a new war to get started.
But here's the deal. Just because you can tune it out and make it background noise doesn't mean it doesn't have a cost. And our source argues that the price of this empire is absolutely devastating, both in human lives and in cold hard cash.
Let's start with the money. We're talking about a $38 trillion national debt. So the source just asks a pretty simple, common sense question. Does it really make any sense to start another incredibly expensive war when we're already in this deep of a financial hole?
And then you have the human cost. And the contrast our source points out is just staggering. The justification for retaliation was the death of 6 Americans. But in the initial strikes that followed, thousands of Iranians were killed. That massive disparity really makes you question the whole narrative of a purely defensive action, doesn't it?
And that price tag isn't just somewhere over there. It's being paid right here, at home. The source makes a powerful case that while all this attention and all these trillions are being spent on conflicts abroad, life for the average American is getting harder and harder. Things that used to be a given, like owning a home or even starting a family, are becoming financial impossibilities. It's a direct trade-off.
So all of this, it leads to a really fundamental philosophical question. A question about what this country even is anymore.
And the source is not subtle about it. They offer up this incredibly blunt definition of what an imperialist ideology really is. It's not about freedom and democracy. It's about the belief that your government has the right to just go take resources from other people, wherever they are.
And this is where it all comes full circle. The source claims that the very meaning of patriotic has been hijacked. That to be a patriot today, in this context, really just means to be pro-empire, It's about supporting the war machine, not the republic and its people.
And that leaves us with the final, massive question that our source puts on the table. Can you be both? Can a nation be a republic for its own people while also being a global empire for everyone else? The suggestion here is that those two things just can't coexist forever. It's a question that challenges the very soul of the country, and it's definitely something to think about long after we're done here.